Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. My name is David and this is my channel. Today we're going to continue talking about how we create our life. And today's video I'm going to name Everything is You. We're playing all parts in our life. So every part of our life is being played by us. Now, how does that work? This simply means that if you stop for a second or rather, let's start here. If you go to bed at night and you have a dream and you have all these people in your dream, and you have all these situations and scenarios, and maybe some are working for you, and maybe some are not working for you, and massive cities and different ideas, and all these things are going on in your dream. Then you wake up and you say, where did all that come from? That came from you. That came from each one of us when we do dream. And this world is no different. It feels, and this is where we get confused, it feels different. It feels like everything out there has a voice, and everything has a way about it. All the inanimate objects turn to be a certain way. Everybody seems to have a personality and so forth and so on. And it has nothing to do with us. So we kind of sit back and say, hey, that's out there. That's not me. I'm this, and out there is this. Does that make sense? So outside seems separate from us. I'm here. Outside is there. Now, because there's a big outside and a lot of people, we can certainly feel like they're all pushing against us. And that's no fun because we're small. And clearly that's massive and huge out there, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of people and a lot of things going on. And then there's just me. So absolutely, I can feel small. Now, then there's the idea of special. I want to be special because there's so much going on around me. And I want to become big, and I want to prove to the outside, and I want to prove to others. You see, does this sound familiar? This idea of me against all of you, right? Comparing, contrasting, that's where all that competitiveness, that's where everything comes from. That idea of fighting or loving or looking or searching, you see. But what if out there, all those people, all those personalities, all those things, and all that meaning is actually coming from each one of you. And it's not coming from outside. I think that's what Jesus was talking about, right? When he said it comes from within. So is it possible? And you have to kind of sit back and look at this. Is all those personalities, are they coming from you? See, we're playing all those parts. As Bashar once said, he said, you can go all the way to the end of the universe, as far as you want, and all you'll find is yourself. So everything is us simply because our perception is on all of those things, right or wrong. So because we have a perception, we are there. Every person, everything that's going on. Not only that, but we're interpreting it based on us. See, the more we understand that, the more we understand how big we are. That me, little tiny Dave, in this body, and yes, all of that matter out there certainly makes me feel small. But me as a soul and a pure spirit that encompasses all of that out there, and that's all coming from within me, that's a little different, isn't it? So now if I don't like that out there, where do I have to look? You guessed it, inside. Just like if you don't like your dream, where do you have to look? Inside you. So now we start this idea of a spiritual journey, so to speak, of awakening. Awakening meaning it's me. My God, I didn't know that. I thought it was all of these things. And it's actually just another version of me, yes, because it takes one to know one. We know that really well. Now, there's a lot out there saying, no way, man, that person's a jerk and I'm not. And that person did this and I wouldn't do that. That's where you have to be honest with yourself. If you say they're a jerk, do you feel it? Do you feel like a jerk when you call them a jerk? I bet you do. See, the more that you understand that when you look out there and judge it, you get to feel the judgment. So now we start understanding, wow, we cannot judge anyone or anything without feeling the judgment ourselves. That's why, once again, that line from Jesus, he said, do not judge, therefore you won't be judged. And we all know that deep down inside, that if I hate something, I get to feel that hate back to me. If I love something, I get to feel the love back to me. It's always coming back to me. Now, why? because it's your perception that you're liking or not liking, not the person. That's really important. The person is an eternal being. It's only love, that of God, that of perfection, that of light. Do you see? Your perception of them is different. Their perception of you, their perception of themselves, you'll never truly know, will you? Think about that. Do we ever really know what anyone thinks of themselves? They might tell us, but we still got to interpret it. Do you see? So the more we understand, we are interpreting everything. And because we're interpreting everything with our perception, we are encompassing everything from within. Every single person we don't like, it's a part of us. If we don't like them, we become that. Then that helps us understand, well, one, for me, it helped me understand how big I was. That was a good thing because it doesn't feel good just to be this little body and have 6 billion people and have to try to please them or fight them or worry about them or fear them or try to be special or love them or compare myself to them. Does that make sense? But when I realize that I am one soul and I encompass everything out there, and that without me, just like if you close your eyes right now, everything is gone. That's what happens. It literally does. You are your own being on your own planet, so to speak, having your own journey. Can you feel the empowerment in that? Can you feel the equality in each one of us in that? Equal journey flowing. We are travelers. Not only we are travelers, but we're creators while we travel. And we are one with the mind of God and one with incredible wisdom and an infinite intelligence. I mean, there's a lot going on here. It's pretty cool. We make ourselves very small when we put everything outside of us and say, I'm just a body and I'm just this little tiny part. And now I got to prove myself. Does that make sense? So sit with that idea for a second. You are playing all parts in your life. Now, the good news is, because of that, each perception that you have that you put on one person or on a thing or whatever it is, you have the ability to magnetize to it because we're all connected energetically. So therefore, there is a magnet going on. That idea of attraction that we've all talked about. That's why someone can sit back and attract money or attract this as long as they can understand that it is indeed a part of them. And that now I can create a resonance with that part and bring it right to me. Of course, it doesn't come to us, it comes through us. So there's much more going on kind of behind the scenes, I think, in this vibrational universe that sometimes we don't always get to see. But I recommend sitting with this idea of going, wow, it's like Eckhart Tolle said. He said, there's you and your perception of someone else, and then there's them and their perception of you. Or I'm sorry, you and your perception of them and their perception of you. There is nothing else. So the next time you look at somebody, say, that's me. What I'm perceiving there is me. I have decided the belief, how I look at them. I mean, we can walk down the road. I remember this and watch someone dress a certain way and say, man, look at that freaking weird person because of something in our past. And at the same time, feel that inside because that is the most ridiculous thing. How can you judge somebody based on what they're wearing? They're an eternal soul. The idea of our inner beings and non-physical will never, ever agree with that. Therefore, we will feel that push against ourselves as we do it, as we match that vibration that we are intentionally sending out. Versus, wow, what an interesting way to dress. I hope they're having a great time. We have choices. And the more we bring this back to ourselves and recognize I'm playing all the parts, then now you can decide what they are. We don't have to judge somebody so harshly and so quickly. We can start looking at them in a new way and then choose. If your body is hurting or if something is attacking you, it could even be some kind of dis-ease. There could be a feeling of, I don't know why this is happening to me and I hate this and I want to get rid of it. And then I'm going to feel that inside me. I want to get rid of me. That's what it's going to feel like. I'm a failure. You're going to feel the guilt. You're going to feel all that pushback because you're trying to get rid of a part of you. Does that make sense? Because you're the one who perceived it. But if you say, man, it's on its way, everything's flowing, I can feel the healing flowing in, I'm going to give it grace, I'm going to allow it because I know that there is no separation. I know all things are flowing to me. I know sources on this. Can you see? There's different things that we can see, different ways we can look. As far as pushing against things, we can turn into a place of allowance, innocence, or even love and embracing. because it's our perception. Now, the good news is as we get a hold of that perception, then whatever it is, believe it or not, doesn't matter what it is, it will then become the way you are, because all your creations have to match you. They have to. The question is, are you matching your creations, or are you intentionally creating? Does that make sense? So that automatic ego that says, I don't like that, and is judging consistently, and then we're matching those creations over and over and over, and not knowing why we don't feel good, why we're feeling so alone, why we're feeling so frustrated, and so forth and so on. Versus, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to, first of all, recognize that I'm playing all parts. If you have a shoulder issue, and someone says, oh man, my shoulder hurts. Well, what shoulder? Does it have a mind? Well, the body. Does the body? It's almost like we aren't in a body with a mind of its own. We're creating a body from the mind of us. Do you see? And then the brain is just a receiver. It's not what we think. The body doesn't have any intelligence of itself. We are running the show. And the more we understand we're running the show, now we can start taking it back. And that's the beauty of it. The shoulder doesn't do anything of its own. If you don't like it and you put fear on it, then you're going to fear that fear back. And now you're going to put your shoulder against you, so to speak. But if you say, once again, I got this, let's do it together. I'll send love to you. It's okay if you're allowed to feel that way. I can feel that dissonance because I have fear there for whatever reason. And there's a vibrational dissonance. And now I can stop. I can allow you first. I can send you some love and some appreciation. Let's do this together. I'm going to work with you together. We're going to find a way to feel good together. You see, and I merge myself with whatever I don't like because you already are merged with it. Does that make sense? Why keep something separate from you? Might as well merge with it, take it in, and then recognize, do you have to see it that way, or can you choose to give it another way of seeing it? We can choose how we see things over and over and over. If somebody is cutting me off in the car, instead of going, man, that idiot, I can't believe that, I can say, wow, he must be in a hurry. Let me slow down and let him go by. That feels better to me. And have we ever been there? I know I have. Absolutely. So now there's compassion. Now there's a connection. And now there's an allowing. So my ego is not going to take me to a place where I start screaming and yelling and cursing at him or her and then feeling it back myself. So I've learned something in my life. Once you understand that you're playing all parts, that your perception is key. Absolutely. And you can either resonate with your own perception or you can create dissonance with your own perception, which is your creation and which is on everything and everyone. Then now you get to decide what you want to create. It doesn't have to be based on the past, does it? That's why we got to let go of the past. Otherwise, we just keep on judging things based on the past, but then we keep on feeling them back. Can you get this? Why create something that you got to feel back? That's something that you don't like. So once we understand, wow, I am the creator of this and I am going to experience my creation back because I can't be separate from it, it's a no-brainer, right? To sit back and say, okay, I'm going to start allowing this feeling to come in because I know it's coming from me. And now I'm going to start looking at it maybe perhaps in a new way. How can I see this in a new way? How can I see it in a way that's flowing? Like I said, hey, that person, no problem. They're in a hurry. I send them my love and my appreciation. I'm sure all is well. As a matter of fact, I hope everything's going well for them. I'm going to send a little bit of a prayer to them. You see? If someone is doing something crazy out in the news that we don't like, I get that. But why join them with your own energy? Send love and appreciation, you see, and let them be. Remember that what we put out is going to come back. So what they're putting out is going to come back too. We don't have to be a part of that. The more we try to control everybody else, all we're doing is controlling our own perception of them. Does that make sense? You got to sit with this. It's silly. And then we're going to feel all the fear, all the sin, and all the guilt that we put on them because we cannot separate ourselves from our creations. We are one and the same. That's why Jesus said, love your enemies. Do you see? He was saying that if you hate your enemies, it's going to come right back to you because they're part of you. It's your perception. And that is a huge part of this journey of waking up and saying, wow, what have I really created out there? Like a huge dream of all these people that I don't like, that I'm judging. and then simply bring it back to me and say, I did that. Wow. What can I do to let go of this? That's one of the first parts, to say, man, I've done this. I'm the creator, and I need to let this go. I need to let this go. And that way I can start creating intentionally on purpose with love and appreciation and joy and passion and excitement. Do you see? If for no other reason, but because it comes back to me. Don't put something out there that's going to come back to you that you don't like. No one's going to hold a hot coal if it's going to burn you. You see, you're going to let it go. So sit with this concept for a little bit, and then we will move on with what's next on the next video. This is a lot of information. So thank you very much, guys. Thanks for following along. Of course, as always, if you need to comment me, I love your comments. Keep them coming. And make sure you hit the like button if you're enjoying this video, and subscribe. And as always, my unconditional love and appreciation.